Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Sarita. I am filming this at dusk, so the lighting is probably going to be a little strange, but it's the moment that I have and I want to do this. I also left my fancy microphone in Columbus, Ohio when I visited last week, but thank God my little sister has found it in her house and is shipping it to me. In the meantime, I'm just going to try to speak up so that you can hear me. Today, we are doing a special giveaway. I've been teasing it for a couple days, and a fun little, I don't know, candle first impressions of these candles. Oh, great. My thing is not going to focus today. Great. Okay. Well, this is HENRI BENDEL. And HENRI BENDEL, if you're not familiar, was because it's the brand and the company has, for the most part, been liquidated. It was a French designer brand that I think they specialize primarily in accessories and in handbags. And they were acquired by Bath & Body Works, or rather by Bath & Body Works' umbrella company. And I don't know when it was, but I want to say it was maybe 20 years ago, something like that. And then shortly after then, but I mean, it was still within a good, 8 years or 10 years, they shuttered the brand. Probably it's been about 10 years now. So a lot of people were very upset about that because they really liked HENRI BENDEL. I wasn't a huge HENRI BENDEL shopper, although I did live in Chicago for about 10 years, and there was a standalone HENRI BENDEL store at Water Tower Place in Chicago. So I was familiar with that, and obviously it went away when they shuttered it. But yes, HENRI BENDEL had fragrances as well, and then obviously kind of bougie candles. From what I can tell, HENRI BENDEL had a lot of limited edition candles, and then some core favorites that kind of stuck around all the time, not unlike a lot of other candle companies. So since HENRI BENDEL has been shuttered, the candles have been discontinued, just all of them. But about 2 years ago, quietly, they started to reappear in test markets, and particularly in Columbus, Ohio. And there were 7 candles, and there are 7 candles, and I have all 7 candles right in front of me. There are 7 candles in this kind of limited edition set, and they are some of the more popular or long-standing fragrances for HENRI BENDEL. They may have just returned kind of as a, I don't know, fun special moment. And to be honest, the employees are never quite sure how long this is going to last. But they've been on the floor at the Easton Town Center location now for about 2 years. The price has fluctuated in those 2 years. Someone told me that they also saw them in Nashville, Tennessee, which is possible. Nashville, Tennessee is also a test market for Bath & Body Works, but they don't usually do test candles. So it's a little odd that you would have seen them in Nashville, but I'm not calling you a liar for sure. I haven't heard reports of them being in Atlanta, Georgia, which is the other big city where there are test candles, but I would imagine that, or at least I would not be surprised if they appear or did appear in Atlanta at some point. Unfortunately, if you're not in the Columbus area and you're not in the Atlanta area and you're not in the Nashville area, you are not going to see these candles, because right now, at least Bath & Body Works has no intention of distributing these candles further than those test markets. And even in those test markets, there are generally only little locations, singular locations that carry the HENRI BENDEL. They are not online, which means that you just have to be there, you have to go into the store, and you have to buy them. The good news is, when there's a leveler sale, a $12.95, a $13.95, a $14.95, they usually include the HENRI BENDEL candles, which is fantastic. And it's especially good because right now the price on them is like $40. So these are not candles that you probably would want to spring for at that price point. However, I did burn one. Of the 7, I've only burned one, and it was Vanilla Bean. And I did review it, and it is a fantastic and glorious candle. And burned significantly better than the usual Bath and Body Works candles in terms of strength, throw, burn performance, etc. And I said at the time when I reviewed it, it's hard for me to know what Bath and Body Works should do with this, because with this candle, I now see that they are capable of greatness. I see that they're capable of a candle that is much better than their usual ones. And yes, it's at a more elevated price point, but even at $40, it's still less expensive than like a Nest candle, and you're getting 15 ounces as opposed to 8. And it really, the performance on this one narrowed the gap between Bath and Body Works and some of those luxury candle companies significantly. But do they want to have candles like this competing on the same floor with their more standard ones? I don't know. I mean, it's just a really kind of a marketing and PR catch-22, and people who are in marketing might have a better take on that. I would love to get like Candle Channel's opinion, Josh from Touch the Fire Twice, especially Josh, because Josh does a lot of more luxury high-end candles. He's got a nose for it, and he's got kind of a mind for it, a brain for it. I'm just wondering what he would think about Bath and Body Works. I mean, on a certain level, if you can do a better candle, why wouldn't you? But at the same time, Bath and Body Works really does a brisk business and has a certain candle buying demographic that is not luxury. And you would hate to throw that away because they do that very, very successfully. Here, neither here nor there, we have 7 candles that I want to talk about. Vanilla Bean is the one that I have burned and I highly recommend. And Vanilla Bean has a cult following from HENRI BENDEL. So I can't believe that I like this candle or that I'm recommending it, because I'm really not a vanilla girl, but this candle is not just a vanilla candle. It's a vanilla plus candle, and very much in that genre of the new, very popular vanilla wood musk kind of category. So I said in an earlier video, which one was it? Oh, the Palo Santo and vanilla, that there is kind of an era right now of kind of, it's a female demographic now that wants personal fragrances that are vanilla, woody, and musky. And there have been a whole range of perfumes over the last couple years from all kinds of high-end fragrance perfumers that are essentially vanilla fragrances with strong wood and or musk components to them. If you are in that category or you like that genre, this is your candle, Vanilla Bean. So the notes on this one are vanilla bean, warm patchouli, and sweet jasmine. Oh, this candle is beautiful. And if you're familiar, it is very, very similar to vanilla birch. I think it's vanilla birch from Bath and Body Works, which also has a following. In fact, vanilla birch is kind of the dupe of it. I burned both of them in the same month, and I can vouch for the fact that the fragrance is extremely similar, but I had to give the nod to Vanilla Bean for being a little bit deeper, a little bit richer, and definitely much louder and punchier in terms of strength and throw. Burned long, burned deep, burned clean. It just was kind of a superior take on vanilla birch. But if you can't get vanilla bean, definitely vanilla birch from Bath and Body Works is very similar. So this one, while it doesn't list any wood, it's definitely a wood. On the other hand, birch is a very kind of perfumey wood. And so sometimes, especially if it's kind of a vague note, you could throw on the list notes patchouli, you could throw vetiver, you could throw vanilla, you could throw birch, you could throw a whole lot of things in that scent notes, and everybody would take it as any one of those. But I do think that there is a strongly kind of woody component to this. Don't worry if you're not a patchouli fan, it's not really pronounced patchouli, and there may not even be patchouli in it, but there is a very gorgeous vanilla note along with kind of a white floral that gives it a perfuminess without it going heavy or like really mature. It's a fantastic candle, and many of you still talk about this vanilla bean candle from HENRI BENDEL. And while you may not be in the Columbus area, maybe it would do your heart good to know that it is still being poured. So that's fantastic. And of course, there are the people who buy them and then put them up on Mercari and eBay for steep prices. And if money is no option for you, maybe you would be tantalized. Maybe you would be tempted by that kind of an opportunity. Okay, so then the other one that I just held up was fig. Looks like this. Fig is juicy fig, candied jasmine, and spicy anise. I have not burned this one, and I'm buying it now for the first time. In the store, I did not like the way that this smelled, but I think it was partly because in the overwhelming environment of a Bath & Body Works store, I really wasn't able to pick up on notes that I now am indoors. There is a fresh green, authentic botanical note here, i.e. kind of a green vine, green leaf with just a whisper of like berry fig. There's a little bit of spice in it as well. Ooh, and something else. It says spicy anise. Yeah, I don't know if I would have gone for that. And then, yeah, I think probably a floral. There is a fresh cleanness to this, and it almost goes a little bit soapy, to be honest, which I don't know that I love, but we'll see how it burns. I thought this was super generic in the store, and I'm a fig lover. But now that I'm smelling it here, I'm liking some of the things that I'm smelling. So I'm really glad to have this one. By the way, one lucky person here in the comments is gonna get one of these candles. So just FYI. So then let's go to Firewood. Okay, so here's Firewood right here. These all have kind of a textured, nice HENRI BENDEL stripe, if you remember the stripes from HENRI BENDEL. It's nice. Otherwise, it's basically just a Bath & Body Works candle, and it's got the 3 wicks, and apparently it's a soy blend, but that's what their regular candles are too. I did think upon burning Vanilla Bean, though, that the wax formula seemed to burn longer and seem a bit richer and more thoughtful. I do think it's a little bit more premium, because I thought to myself, are they just trying to pull something over on everyone? Like, these are just their standard candles, but the prestige of HENRI BENDEL, they're just gonna like charge us an arm and a leg. But I really did think that there was a significant or an appreciable difference between the burning performance of like Vanilla Bean and Vanilla Birch from Bath & Body Works. And I did burn them in tandem because I really wanted to kind of tell the difference. Here's another one that has kind of a dupe in the Bath & Body Works standard collection. So this is Firewood, and it is a dupe for, is it Fireside or Hearthside? I think it's Fireside or Fire. Yeah, I think it's Fireside. I should have looked that up. You know what I'm talking about, though. The notes on this one are cozy firewood, vetiver, and warm amber. This one is very similar to Firewood. Oh man, that's nice. Very wood forward and smoky, and it's got a vetiver finish on it. So I would say that the star of the show is the wood, as it should be in this type of a candle. It's the wood, and then the wood is charred and smoky and warm and dry. And then the vetiver is just finishing the whole thing off and rounding it out in an amazing way. Yes, there is amber, but what I appreciate is that amber isn't taking over the candle. I'm looking at you, Yankee Candle, and various others, Kringle sometimes, where just a candle, whatever other good elements in it, it just seems to be drowning in cologne or perfume, yeah? Like it has too much amber in it, too much bergamot, and to have a perfume or a cologne conceptual, I mean, that is a point of view in and of itself. I don't want to disrespect cologne or perfume conceptuals because there is very much a time and a place for a cologne or a perfume conceptual. But I've noticed, especially when the companies, in my opinion, start kind of phoning things in. Yes, I would put Yankee Candle in that category right now, at least. Kringle has not had a good year or two. You start seeing, especially in those periods when they've got kind of a dip in performance, you start seeing a lot of perfume or cologne conceptuals come down the line. It just gives you the impression that they have either one, lost confidence in the ability to develop a really unique and authentic and fresh fragrance. And so perfume and cologne just kind of like cover a multitude of sins in that regard. So either number one, they've lost confidence, they've lost creativity, or number two, they're using cheaper inputs. And in order to conceal that, then they'll just add a lot of perfume or cologne elements that kind of smother the fragrance and wash out, as it were, some of those more authentic elements. Yeah. This candle and this fragrance is an example of amber used well to warm up the fragrance, to enhance, to deepen, but without like becoming its own leading lady or overwhelming the other elements, which I just think is so fantastic. It's a very palatable candle too, because some charcoal wood candles are so aggressive as to almost be kind of like novelty candles. Like you're afraid if you burn them that your house is gonna smell like it's on fire, which is a little on the alarming side rather than the comforting and soothing side. This one is just really lovely. So, and I know there are people out there who are a huge fan of this one. This one has a following from HENRI BENDEL as well. When I was in Bath & Body Works, one of the employees did say that someone came in and to get this candle, and they said, and it may have been their grandmother or something like that. Their grandmother said, get Firewood, not Fireside from Bath & Body Works, because as similar as they are, I can tell the difference. And if the burning of vanilla bean and vanilla birch were any indication, I completely understand why that might be the case. I burned Fireside from Bath & Body Works, and it was fine, but a little underwhelming. So if I get the chance to burn this, I kind of expect it to be a better experience on a lot of levels. All right, another candle that is somewhat similar here. This one is amber. And I really apologize. Like I said, that it is kind of not focusing. If I bring it back to my face, it focuses. But if I bring it up here, it does not. Oh, so unhappy. Okay, amber. I have a story with this one actually, because when I was in Columbus this week, I had my sisters smell these candles, okay? My sisters are a little on the basic side. They like the vanillas, they like the cinnamon rolls, you know, all those different things. And so I fully expected them to like hate this candle. And I've bought this before. I have not burned it yet, but I have mentioned in previous hauls that this candle, to me, I just don't understand why anybody would like this candle. It's harsh, it's medicinal, it's just not, I feel as though this candle is in my wheelhouse and I hate it, which is to say that I don't know why anybody would like it, because surely the vanilla cinnamon roll crowd is not gonna like it. Wrong, absolutely wrong. My sisters loved this candle. And you know, it goes to show you, if we can just have a moment, where's my camera? I want to say how humbled I am in moments like that. How humbled I was last week. And, you know, you always have to stay humble if you review something like candles. Because, yes, I flatter myself that I'm knowledgeable about a lot of things. And I can tell sometimes if it's very obvious, a cheaper candle as opposed to a more expensive one. I can try to explain why I think this candle is more successful in a more or less intelligent way, talking about the way that fragrance notes are blended, or the apparent cheapness or expensiveness of the particular scent oils, etc., etc. But so much of this is so subjective. And I even try to take into consideration my subjective preferences, but man, sometimes you're just so wrong. One of you guys in a comment, and I can't remember, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, somebody said something like, I am just not interested in any of the candles that you like or review, but I can't help watching you, and I still watch you because I just think you're so fantastic. And by the way, thank you so much. And I have candle reviewers that way too. I'll watch people, you know, and I'm not a gourmand person, or I'm not this, but I love your channel. I love the way you talk. I love the way that you express. I want to hear you talk about candles, even if I have no intention, or my tastes are not the same, or whatever else, you know? So God bless. I'm really happy for all of you who have who have tuned in and continue to tune in, even though your preferences may be completely different than mine. But yeah, this whole amber thing just completely threw me. And I thought to myself, man, like objectively, I thought this was a bad candle and an unpalatable one, and one that nobody would like. And my sisters, who like a very slim range of frankly very safe candles, adore this candle. Just makes me question everything, absolutely everything. And like I said, makes me feel, it checks me. I feel checked, you know? Like, Sarita, you don't know so much. Just try to describe it, you know? And I beg your forgiveness too, if sometimes like I shit on a candle and it's your favorite candle. You know what? I could be wrong. I really could. Or maybe there is no right and wrong. So I apologize. Sometimes, though, it is fun on YouTube for somebody to just express their opinion, you know? And as long as that doesn't bother you and you realize that it really is very subjective, it is kind of nice to just hear somebody be like, oh, this candle is terrible, even if privately you think it's fantastic. All right, close parentheses. Amber is sweet golden amber, jasmine, and white rose. Jasmine is represented a lot in these candles. Whew. It is just so much. This is another really cult classic from HENRI BENDEL. People love this candle, and I just refused to believe it until I saw my sisters be like, it's so great, that's the one I would choose. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's heavy. It's heavy, it's aggressive, it's kind of old-fashioned a little bit. There's a soapiness, there's also a little bit of a medicinalness. And yes, there is like a spice component, like an exotic spice component, but it almost goes like potpourri-like, and that's what I mean by being a little dated. Yeah, I just don't know about that. There is almost an aspect of, and we've talked about this before, like a soda pop, because I think that there's probably a lot of clove, and then there's amber and vanilla. And a lot of soda pops are the combination of like a brown sugar and a vanilla and an effervescence, you know? God bless. It's just, you know, maybe it's one of those ones though that I'll burn and I'll like. So sometimes, usually what you smell on cold is what you get burned. But every now and then, you'll get a candle that smells amazing, and then when you burn it, it's like, oh, it kind of like lost a lot of its majesty upon it being burned. Actually, a lot of Bath & Body Works candles this year have been in that category for me. Some of their conceptuals, especially some of their botanical ones, and botanical ones can do that because those more fragile, authentic botanical elements are hard to amplify. So if they're mixed with something else that is amplifiable, it kind of splits the fragrance and all of the nuances get lost. They don't all stay together, if that makes sense. It is much more rare for you to encounter, but you can, a candle that you hate on cold, but upon being burned, it transforms and it's something else. And the reason that it's more rare is not because it doesn't happen quite a bit, but because if you don't like a candle on cold, you're not gonna burn it, you're not gonna bring it home, you're not gonna buy it. Yeah? Sometimes I lay in bed at night and I'm just like, I wish I knew how many candles were brilliant that I missed out on because they smell bad on cold, and I'm not gonna buy it, obviously, you know? But you just don't know. You don't know. You can't buy everything. You can't burn everything, right? Anyway, I bought these all just to keep them in the collection. So I have some opportunities here of some candles that I think smell at least lackluster, or in this case, kind of off-putting. But who knows? Maybe they will transform. That's amber. I don't know that amber has any dupe in the Bath & Body Works catalog, but to be honest, I don't know the Bath & Body Works catalog quite well enough for me to be able to say that with confidence, okay? Champagne, I have not burned this one, but oh gosh, I love this one. But I'll tell you what, my sisters hated this one, hated it, which makes me reluctant and hesitant because I have highly recommended this one and been like, this is the standout of the collection, blah, blah, blah. But like, maybe it's pretty niche and I just didn't realize it. Okay, so champagne, and I gave this one to Kent from Candle Channel, and I don't know if he's burned it or not, but I have not burned it yet. Champagne is a very, very odd marketing and naming because it doesn't smell like champagne at all. And what's more, the notes are, they also seem like they should be champagne forward. So the notes listed on the back are sparkling champagne, juicy pineapple, and sugared musk. So again, you're just expecting something fruity and effervescent and all champagne toasty. And the minute that I looked at this on the back and saw the name of it, I lifted the lid and was bracing myself because I don't love all those effervescent candles from Bath & Body Works. And the sugar and pineapple. Pineapple is one of the most sugary and like acidic kind of candles. So I was just, like I said, bracing myself. And then I smelled it and I was like, what? What? This is, I mean, if there's ever been a bait and switch, this is just, I don't know what notes they put on the back of this. They're just wrong notes. So I was talking to, this is probably about a year ago when I got this for the first time. One of the store associates came over, and between us, sometimes the store associates at the Easton Town Center, they have attitude because they're in the flagship store, if you know what I mean. I've run across like a nice employee like literally once going into that store. I kind of try to avoid it because like everybody that works there is like, they know everything. Like they don't have good customer service, which is very odd for Bath & Body Works because usually Bath & Body Works customer service is almost overwhelming in its graciousness, if you know what I mean. And there have been waves of Bath & Body Works cultures. Oh my gosh, sidebar. I was in a Bath & Body, what city was that? I can't remember because I've hit a lot of them on the way to Columbus and all the way back. I was in a particular store and the store manager, like on a scale from 1 to 10, was easily at a 14. Easily. Like had 5 espressos, like off the chain, like almost yelling, like just bubbly, let me spray this on you. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? You know, like all this kind of thing. I had to do a return, so I was up at the front and another young woman, like another associate was like ringing me out and I'm like, can I say this between you and me? Your store manager is like old school 1990s Bath & Body Works. And she just started smiling right off. She's like 100%. She said, we love her. Like, that's just the way she is. It's really authentic. I'm like, yes. But in the 90s, all the Bath & Body Works employees were that way. I mean, a 14 on a scale from 1 to 10, you know? You came in and it was like an onslaught of people who were gonna spray you, put all the lotions on you, give you the basket, shout and yell at you, all the promotions. I mean, it was just like way up in here. If you know, you know, right? 1990s. Starbucks kind of mimicked it then after that too. I think they were looking at Bath and Body Works and they're like, yeah. So all their employees at Starbucks, 6 a.m. You know, it was like, have a magical day, right? Now the culture at Bath and Body Works has become a little bit more normal. Yes, the associates are solicitous and gracious, you know, and they do want to tell you about the promotions, but they're not up in that 1990s like extra place, if you know what I mean. Okay, anyway, close parentheses. The really snooty, higher than thou employees at Easton Town Center. So, I was smelling this and like one of them came over to do something else and I'm like, this does not smell at all like champagne. And he just looked at me and he was like, no, why would it? Of course not. And I felt like I was being gaslit or something. He was just like, no, why would you think it would smell like champagne? I'm like, because it's called champagne. They're like, no. HENRI BENDEL's fragrance champagne doesn't smell anything like champagne. And then they just kind of like walked away like, you should know that if you know anything at all. And I wasn't quick enough to be like, well, the notes themselves indicate that I should be smelling champagne, pineapple, and sugar and musk. And this sure as hell is not, you know? At least it would have like made them less snooty maybe, I don't know. Anyway, bearing the lead here. This candle is an amazing, like very green vine candle with, I think, a lot of rose in it, but it's like a fragrant, botanical, authentic rose. Kent thought that it was actually very similar to tomato vine, which is another kind of long-standing Bath and Body Works candle that has not come back very frequently. And that could be because a lot of tomato vine candles, and I even reviewed a few like a month ago, can have, especially if they've got a cherry tomato kind of vibe to them, can be sweet in that sense. And actually I think tomatoes are technically fruits. Am I correct about that? I do think it's rose. I do think it's rose though, rather than a tomato. And I could be wrong about that, but I think there's a floral aspect to it. And it is a heavy green vine for sure. It's dewy. It's just fantastic. It's stripped down and authentic. And I worship it. I do love botanicals though. I love the green. And it's so refreshing to get like a rose candle that isn't heavy, mature, perfumey. You know what I mean? I'm here for this, but my sisters were not. Maybe they were just kind of like not expecting a candle to smell this way, like the way that you wouldn't expect a candle to smell like a tomato vine or something. The only thing I can think, that I can think is by calling it champagne, it's like a conceptual champagne, like champagne and roses, because there's no champagne in it. It's nothing to do with champagne. It's everything to do with roses, and particularly a rose bush. So I don't think champagne is the right name for it, but God bless. 2 more to go. Blue Jasmine is very popular at Bath and Body Works. So Blue Jasmine, don't worry if you don't get this one, because this is 1,000 Wishes from Bath and Body Works. I think it's the most cliched of the ones here, and it's no coincidence. It is been carried almost without any kind of change or alteration, has been poured by Bath and Body Works as 1,000 Wishes. And then more lately as that neutrals candle, which is like jasmine and currant, blue jasmine and currant, maybe something like that, which came out last year. And it came back this year too, which confused me immensely, to be honest, because I don't think we need that, especially since we've got 1,000 Wishes. So Salted Amber and Vetiver came back along with the Blue Jasmine and Currant. Salted Amber and Vetiver should come back. That's a good candle. Blue Jasmine and Currant, no. And Missed Opportunity, I think instead of that, they should have brought back the Wild Berry and Ube, because that has a very starchy and spicy, almost pumpkin spice kind of vibe to it. It's perfect as a transition from summer into fall. So they should not have given us that jasmine currant. Instead, they should have done wildberry and ube and salted amber and vetiver. Done. Okay. Anyway, blue jasmine is that jasmine currant and 1,000 wishes. The notes on it are sparkling citrus, almond cream, and crystal peonies. I've never thought of 1,000 wishes as an almond fragrance. And if you're looking for an almond, I don't think you should be searching for it here. This is just a very typical, like, Bath and Body Works extravagant body care with the glitter and the sweetness and the synthetic. And God bless, there's a good following for this. I mean, this is almost just like, and that's how 1,000 wishes. It's a little heavy. It's a little bit dated. But it's Bath and Body Works. I mean, if there was ever a fragrance that just smells like hashtag Bath and Body Works, it would be this one. There is a possibility that this one will burn a little bit more sophisticated than like 1,000 Wishes or Blue Jasmine and Currant, but I don't know. It was kind of unsurprising to me that like all the employees were like, this one flies off the shelf, you know, before the other HENRI BENDEL one does, because it's a Bath and Body Works that they're selling them in, and everybody likes 1,000 Wishes, I guess. So, you know, I guess that's it. But for me personally, if you're going to spring for a HENRI BENDEL candle, why would you get 1,000 Wishes? But God bless. If you win the contest and you get to pick a candle and you pick this one, no judgment. It's very popular. Do you like 1,000 Wishes? Do you want it in a form in which it will probably perform much better than any of your 1,000 Wish candles up to this point? Okay. Last but not least, we have this one, which is Lavender Leaves. Kind of in this nice dusty purple. Soft lavender, sage, and fresh bergamot. I don't like this. I just don't like it. But I'm not a lavender person. So please, caveats there. It's kind of the lavender that was in that Lavender Oceanside from like a month ago. It's just a very like aromatherapy, almost a little soapy, almost a little medicinal. And then not a whole lot else. And because of what is probably sage and bergamot, you're also getting, the sage and the bergamot are just making it even more harsh, you know? It's because when you have like a really, like if you have an aromatherapy leaning lavender, it's actually fairly smart to try to cut it with something. I don't think you should be trying to cut it with sage and bergamot, if you know what I mean. That's just too much. It's too much. Sage and bergamot are also elements that you might want to cut. You know what I mean? Gwen's note, which I can't stop talking about, is sage, lavender, and sandalwood. Oh man, that's a good candle. It has a really beautiful, warm, creamy component though that cuts both the lavender and the sage. And the lavender note is a little nicer than this one. I mean, this is definitely more lavender forward than like Gwen's note, which is a more well-rounded conceptual. I would say this is primarily just a lavender candle, and unfortunately for me, the sage and the bergamot just give it kind of a harshness. But I could see how some people would say, but it also gives it an authenticity, you know? It's like the opposite of a candle like this. It's not synthetic. It's not giving you some sort of like lush, like body care kind of vibe. It's austere. Yeah. Those are the candles. Who knows though? Maybe like amber, it'll be one of those candles that's just brilliant once it's burned. All right, so that's what I've got for you. Those are the 7 of HENRI BENDEL. I'm gonna try to burn them at some point. Vanilla bean I can vouch for. But I think like amber and fireside and maybe fig actually most all of these are kind of coolish, with the exception of the champagne, because this does seem very spring to me with the green vine and the rose. It's a little dewy, it's vibrant. It's definitely much more of like an early spring. You might even be able to get it would be great in like April, May. Yeah, that's an April, May candle for sure. This one is kind of all around just because it's like a basic body care kind of fragrance. The rest of these though are pretty cool weather. Yeah, even the fig one. Now, the fig is light. It's not heavy. It's not deep. It's not bassy. It's not spicy. So I don't think you would want to do it late in the fall, but you could do this as a nice transition into the fall for sure. Because fig is kind of one of those nice darker fruits that is just beautiful, like with plum in the fall. The rest of these are all cool weather. Lavender, although you could probably do that in like January, February too. Amber, January, you could do it for January, February too, but definitely firewood and vanilla bean all up in the fall. Yeah. All right, well, I wanted to do this special video because I knew it was gonna be in Columbus and I could get the HENRI BENDEL candles. And also I thought to myself, when I get 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna do a giveaway. And I'm gonna try to do a giveaway every time I hit another 1,000 because I just think that that's fantastic. And also, like, I just like giving things away. I just do. So I wanna give away one of these HENRI BENDEL candles to one of you, okay? If you win, and it'll just be randomized. If you win, then I will reach out to you, I will direct message you, and you just tell me what candle you want and I will send it to you free of charge. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to everybody on this channel. I've been already saying this kind of in the videos up to this point, but I guess I can reiterate. I didn't start this channel to like, necessarily get all the subscribers, certainly not to like make money or to get PR or to become, a candle ambassador or those kinds of things. To be clear, I would not turn away free candles, but I'm just not interested in relationships with candle companies for the most part. I really like to stay like independent. And I think to some extent, there are a lot of viewers out there, you may be one of them, who just kind of really wants a little bit more independency in your reviewing. It doesn't mean that my reviews are more honest or have more integrity, but I'm definitely coming from a place where I'm not trying to sell you anything. And I think people actually really treasure that. And so I would like to continue to be that. I didn't expect for the channel to do extremely well. And in fact, I didn't tell any of my friends and family. There are literally members of my family who have no idea that I do this. So I didn't like get all my friends and family to subscribe or anything. It's just been word of mouth and like people just finding my channel. And I am just so like grateful. I really am. And surprised in a very like pleasant way that it hasn't even been a year and a half and we're at 1,000. I'll tell you what I'm really shocked about. I'm shocked that people like me talking like crazy, like going on and on. I really struggle to do a short video. And I just do. And sometimes I'll talk and talk. Even you guys know, I'll talk forever. And I thought people were gonna hate that. And I felt so bad. Like at the beginning, I tried so hard to get my videos like shorter and shorter and shorter. And I felt like I was rushing. And every time I felt like I had failed because no matter how hard I worked, it was like 20 minutes, But then I have found, and don't get me wrong, I've gotten a couple comments from people like, when are you gonna start talking about the candles? When are you gonna stop talking or something like that, And I get that, like maybe this isn't your channel. And those people probably have not subscribed to God bless. But I actually think that it's worked out to my advantage. When YouTube first kind of started, or at least when it came into its own, everything had to be very, very short. You had to get everybody's attention in like 5 minutes, and it needed to be like a really short kind of video, very TikTok-y, But I think that actually people are starting to use YouTube in a completely different way. Like they're subscribing to it. Some people subscribe to YouTube and it's like their TV. They have cut their cords and like all they have is YouTube. They'll put it on their TV. They'll clean their house. It's on in the background. For people like that, and there have been entire podcasts that have moved to YouTube. And because people just want the video of them sitting around a table talking into a microphone. And it's shocking, but it's just the way that it's been. You know, people just want longer videos and they want something to look at every now and then. They don't want to have to look for another video after 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever else it is. So I have capitalized on that wave. 10 years ago, I probably would not have been good for YouTube. Now I am, and I noticed that like the longer the video that I do, sometimes the more well liked it is. You guys like long videos. So that's been like a huge shock for me, that I could just talk like this extemporaneously and so many people would like it. But just thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you, and I'm so excited to continue doing this into the future. So the giveaway. Please like this video. If you want to be in the giveaway, like this video, and then down below, just tell me what candle you would like the best of these 7. So we've talked about them today. Just tell me which one that you want and you'll be in the giveaway. And I will probably close it like Friday at midnight. So Friday at midnight, in my mind, I'll close it and I'll select someone. So if you're encountering this video after, what would it be? After July the 5th. July the 5th at midnight, 2024. Unfortunately, a winner has already been chosen. But hey, join me and maybe at the 2,000 mark, we'll get you in that next giveaway. Thank you so much. I have a lot of other things to review, so I'll try to get to them soon in the next few weeks. Thank you so much, and I will catch you in the next one.